Welcome into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. I know tough loss, but also, man, the guys fought till the very last Hail Mary at the end of the game, and we know it's been an emotional roller coaster of a few weeks here for the team. What did you learn about your squad just watching the way they did fight to the end of that one?
Well, I know they're going to fight. You know, they always fight, and they're always tough, and they're going to give us a chance to win the ball game. We just got to play smarter. We had situations in every phase of the ball game where we could have pulled that out. We got to be smart in all aspects. Offensively, probably the false starts and starting 1st and 15, 1st and 20, and those type of things. Defensively, you'll play good for spurts, and then we'll have a busted coverage or we'll have a missed tackle, and it ends up in a big play. We got to clean that part up, and special teams had a chance as well. We had a chance to return a punt. We were one guy away, so we're right there. We got to get better at those type of things. The guys that haven't played before are getting better and experience-wise, and I think that'll help us as the season progresses, but we got to start making less mistakes.
Looking at the offense, I know, of course, the big question going in had been, what is this going to look like without Mike and Chris? And you look at the stats of 432 net yards of offense, third consecutive game generating at least 400 yards of offense, and the fourth time this season. And that's the tied for the most in the NFC and tied for second most in the NFL in that span. And one of those games, obviously, is without those guys. So what did you notice from Liam Cohen's game plan and what the offense was still able to do without two of your biggest playmakers?
I mean, they were very crisp. The offensive line blocked well in the run game. I thought McMillan, Shepard, Raheem, Jarrett, Miller, I thought they did a great job in the passing game. Cade Otton stepped up and made some great plays. On all three running backs made some plays from that way. Liam was very creative. He moved the ball around. We got yards. We just got to finish it out. The only negative is the turnovers.
Yeah, so first let's, I guess, go into those those three turnovers, to the fumble and then the two interceptions, and what you noticed about those different plays.
The fumble, we got to put the ball away. I mean, it was like the second play of the game. We got to put the ball away, gave him good field position. We're in scoring territory on the other two. Guy makes a heck of a play on the flea flicker, but we still got to come down and knock that ball out of there. Miller's got to get that ball out. The third one, I thought if he had put some air on it instead of trying to drill it in there, I thought we'd have had a touchdown, but we can't turn it over. We're doing great things on offense. If we can cut that part of it out, I think we'll be outstanding.
And then what did you see from Baker outside of those interceptions, and what stood out about his game?
He led the team. He gave us a chance to win all the way up until the end. He gives us a chance every week. He prepares. He runs when he has to. He throws when he has to. He understands what's at stake, and he uplifts everybody on the sideline.
And I do feel like he's gotten a lot of attention, rightfully so. Running backs have gotten a lot of attention, rightfully so. But for both of them to succeed, the offensive line is such a huge part. And it does feel like they have really gotten to a place of gelling together and being one of the best units on this team in recent weeks. What have you seen from them specifically, knowing a little bit more about what they're being asked to do and the level they've gotten to?
Really, it's just the chemistry. I think Carves and Pacucci do a great job of making them guys understand what we're trying to do and what they have to do to win the ball game. Those guys are responding. They work at it constantly. Carves is a tireless worker, and it shows on game day.
And then 9 different players made a catch. Baker had to throw 50 times. And for the second week in a row, he established a new career high in single-game completions. What did you learn about the depth, especially of this offense, to have so many different guys get asked to step up in this game?
We thought we had a lot of depth. Nobody just saw it before. So until they all had to come out at one time, we have a lot of depth at receiver. We think we have some guys that can make a lot of plays. So we're comfortable with the guys that we have. You know, we just got to keep working at it.
You mentioned Cade Otton earlier. I mean, man, 9 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, and of course on National Tight End Day, the made-up thing that's like a little Hallmark holiday. But man, Cade took it to heart. Passed O.J. Howard for the 8th most receptions by a tight end in team history already, and second career game with multiple receiving touchdowns. And it feels like each week we're just seeing more and more out of Cade and what he can be to this offense. In this game in particular, why was this a game that he went off on so much?
He was actually running wide receiver routes, not just inside tight end routes. I mean, he was running whips. He was spinning back inside, and they were hitting. I mean, he was catching and running with the football. Cade has so much to unlock that it's exciting to see him every week, even when Mike and Chris come back. But it's exciting to see what he can do and the things he's starting to do. It's really exciting.
And take us through his couple touchdowns.
Like I said, the first one, he did a whip. He came back in, and Baker hit him right on the numbers. He scored a heck of a touchdown. The second one, he just was a button hook. He just turned around and circled it. Baker put it low and outside, and he makes those catches all the time.
As much as you never want to deal with injuries, especially to your key guys like that, looking at someone like Cade, as you said, you're unlocking some of these new different things from him. Guys are getting reps that wouldn't normally be, that are younger and progressing. Is there a chance this could end up being a good thing for the offense in the long term of getting guys into positions and opportunities they wouldn't have been in?
I believe it will be. It'll give everybody confidence, so if they do have to play later on in the year, they'll step up and make plays.
And then I know Cade is also leading the league in snaps for tight ends, which, similar to last year. What is it that we don't notice? We see all those, like you said, the wide receiver routes when he's making all these catches and yards. What do we not see about him?
His blocking. He deals with a lot of defensive ends and outside linebackers on a daily basis. He holds his ground. He's very tough in there. He's very smart. He can position you. He can power you. He understands the game so well that it looks easy. I know it's not. It takes a lot of work, but he does a great job at it.
And you guys were 3 of 3 in the red zone. What went well particularly there?
Oh, execution. The execution was great. The receivers ran very good routes. The running backs got us down there. He was Bake threw them in there, and they did a great job executing.
Of all the names we had thrown out this week of who we thought and expected to step up in the wake of those wide receiver injuries, I don't think Rakim Jarrett really got mentioned as much, maybe just not knowing coming off the injury what he was going to look like. But, man, talk about some big key splash plays for you guys. What did he end up meaning to the offense in this game, and were you even surprised of how big of an impact he was able to make, having missed so much time?
I was, and he was huge at the end in 2 minutes. Usually you get winded about that time, especially since he hasn't played much. But coming off surgery and working out, he prepared for the moment. He was ready for the moment. He made some big catches. When he was healthy, he made some tough catches for us. And now that he's back healthy, I'm excited to see where he goes from here.
And then Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan going to be, we knew they were going to be looked at more with these injuries. 4 catches, 35 yards, and a jet sweep for 17 for Jalen. And then 2 catches for 29 yards for Trey Palmer. What did you see from each of those guys?
I think Jalen's rounding into a very good receiver. His route running, his understanding of the game, his maturity from when he first started in the beginning of the season has grown leaps and bounds. And Trey's just a gamer. He makes plays. When you put him out there, he's going to make a play.
And for each of them, what would you like to see more of, again, as we talked about them getting more snaps and more opportunities during this stretch?
Just polishing and finishing off the top of their routes. That'll be big going forward.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Todd Bowles Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. All right, so Bucky, 9 carries for 44 yards and also 7 catches for 40 yards. ESPN's Next Gen Stats said that he forced a career-high 9 missed tackles and has recorded a missed tackle forced rate of 40.6% this season, which is the second highest among players with at least 30 touches. That's a pretty crazy stat to me of just how many. We've seen him make guys miss, but to put a number on it like that is pretty incredible. What is it about him that makes him so elusive? When I know every running back out there is trying to make guys miss, why is he so good at it?
His vision and his stop and start. He can stop and start and get back to full speed quicker than most people. He can see the field. It's a gift. It's a gift. Everybody can't do that. He can see the field. He understands what's getting ready to happen to him. He can set his blocks up well, and he has a good feel for it.
And now that we're already kind of almost to the halfway point of the season, essentially, how have you already seen him grow as a rookie and change since he came in here?
I don't think he's changed. He's come in the exact same way. He's the first player in the building. He's not too far behind me. He's the first player in the building. He's always the first one sprinting off the practice field. His study habits are unbelievable. The way he prepares and the way he plays and the way he attacks the game. You would think he's been in the league 5 years, but he hadn't changed at all, and I don't want him to.
That's great. And how about Rachaad? Take us through his game overall.
Rachaad had a very good overall game. Take away the fumble, he had some good runs in there, inside tough runs. He had some great catches. He scored the touchdown on one of them. He's very good in pass pro. I thought he played a solid all-around game.
He has 3 receiving touchdowns now this season, tied for a single-season career high, and his 8 receiving touchdowns and 7 rushing touchdowns since he entered the league. He's one of 3 players in the NFL to hit those benchmarks, joining Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. Not bad company to be in for that stat. To see his ability to have the balance in those areas, and then especially now with the injuries to Mike and Chris, to know how talented he is at receiving, what has that meant to this offense?
It's been huge. I mean, he's a very good all-around back, and when he's in there, you never know what you're going to get, whether it's running, whether it's blocking, whether it's pass catching, whether it's route running. He can do it all, and that bodes well for us keeping people off balance.
Ryan Miller was another of those guys called up, was out there essentially as the starter in that first series with a 3 wide receiver set. 3 catches for him, especially one with some contact towards the end of the game. What do you see as the role he could have moving forward and what you guys would like to see him contribute?
Ryan's always going to be in the right spot. He's a tough, gritty receiver. He can block very well. He has very reliable hands, and he's a very good route runner, and he can play special teams. So going forward, he can play any of the 3 positions on the field, whether it's X, whether it's Z, whether it's the slot. He can play any of those positions, and he fits a huge role for us. I
know you guys finished 9 of 14 on third down on offense and have the highest third down conversion rate in the league to this point. What has the offense done really well on third down to move the sticks? Execution, understanding what the defense is trying to do to him and then executing. I know Baker, 9th time this year that he has scrambled for at least 10 yards and has had more conversions over the last couple years on third down scrambles than any other quarterback at that time. How big of a part has that been of whether he's actually doing it or the threat of it? How have you seen that affect even the way that defenses approach the team and what that can mean for those third down situations? I don't think he tries to do it. I think it's necessary when he starts scrambling, and when he sees an opening, it's great to know he can take it and still be able to get down. So defense overall, what did you feel like the defense did well, and then what do you mainly wish had gone differently? I thought we stopped the run early, and I thought we knew what was happening to us. And early on, we busted the coverage, and then we missed the tackle and gave them 2 free touchdowns. It's the 4 or 5 plays that we don't do that ruin everything else on defense, and that's the part we got to get cleaned up on. I know you guys forced a couple punts in a row to open the third quarter, which included a 3-and-out when they actually had the least 3-and-outs in the league coming into the game. What adjustments at halftime or execution changes seemed to happen where that stretch was going really well defensively? We're a little more aggressive up front. I think those guys were getting TFLs, putting them behind the sticks a little bit, and we got after it a little bit and then kind of put them on their heels. And then take us through the safety play and how big that was at the time in the game. That was huge. Izzy came for a blitz, and he came underneath. I think he was getting there right when the quarterback was handing the ball off and caused the fumble. Tried to get a touchdown, couldn't get the touchdown, but it got us back in the ball game. I know that Izzy was stepping in for Tyke coming off the concussion protocol, and he became the 3rd Buccaneers defensive back since 2005 to record multiple tackles for loss in a single game. The only other people to do it, Jordan and Antoine, back in there. So what have you seen from Izzy and again, just having to play so many different roles and positions and the way he's able to get some unique stats like that? He's huge for us. I mean, you're going to get somebody that plays full speed. You're going to get somebody who can tackle. You're going to get somebody who's going to make a play one way or the other, and every time you look up, he's going to be around the ball. All right, we are going to take another quick break here on the Todd Bowles Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. I know Antoine's strip play at the goal line did not count, and I'm not going to get you fined by asking if you agreed with it or not. So instead, I'll just ask, tell me your thoughts on just what it's like to have a guy like Antoine who can make these kind of plays, always makes those hustle plays that no one was surprised he was the guy down there almost getting to stop that touchdown. What did that play mean, and what does it say about him? It's a great example to the younger guys as well as the older guys that the play is never over till it's over. To see a guy like that hustling, since he's gotten in the league, play in and play out, it doesn't matter. He tries to finish every football play, and that's encouraging to see. Didn't have a good enough angle to see whether it was out or not, so it kind of stood as it was. What are the challenges of covering a guy like Kyle Pitts? He's tall, just making sure you're in position, and we got to get him down when he catches the ball. I think we let him out the gate twice. Merriweather fell down one time, then we missed a tackle for him to get to the other touchdown. He can catch it, but you got to eliminate the yak yards or something we tried to do, and we didn't get that done in the first half. Looking at some of the chunk plays that the defense gave up, did it seem like a consistent theme that was happening with those, or was it different things each time?
One was a missed tackle, one we fell down.
How about the defensive line's game? What stood out to you about their performance?
They started out playing the run well. Beat is very tough on the inside to handle. Kalijah plays fast and he can make a lot of plays. And I thought Logan, from a run game standpoint, I thought he played very well and he got better in that aspect of it. And there's a little bit more in the pass game from time to time, but the outside backers kind of took care of the edge a lot. Got to learn how to play the chips in the passing game a little bit better than we played them and work our games a little better. But, you know, those guys are coming along.
I know C.J. Brewer definitely stepped up in his role. 3 tackles, 2 for loss, couple sacks, couple quarterback hits. What did you see about the way he stepped up and that's given you the idea of, you know, knowing he was someone you could trust to put in there in those situations?
Game's not too big for him. C.J. studies. He's a studier. He makes sure he's prepared no matter what when he gets in the ball game. And he's Johnny on the spot. He makes plays.
I know we saw that one play where Levante and Antoine really got after Cousins on a blitz. Overall, how did you feel about the pressure you guys were able to bring and just, you know, trying to game plan against offense like that, the role that pressure needs to play?
When we brought it, I thought we were fine. We didn't bring enough. We didn't get a chance to bring enough. They got a lead and kind of started running the football on us, so we were trying to do run pressures more or less. But when we were in position to pressure and pressured, I thought they were well.
So Tyreek Funderburk played most, the first half, and then you brought Josh Hayes in the second half. Tell me about each of their performances and also what went into that decision.
Tyreek had a rough first half. He missed some plays here and there. He missed some tackles. And him and Hayes were neck and neck anyway, so we decided to give Hayes a shot, different type of player. He played aggressive. He played hard. He didn't give up anything.
And then take us through the decision on the fake punt. What made you guys decide to go for that?
It was 4th and 3. It was a look we were trying to get, and so we can run the fake punt. We didn't get the look. We probably should have gotten out of it, and we didn't get out of it, and it kind of cost us.
All right, we're going to take one more break. We have another segment coming up here looking ahead to this next game, Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. We'll be right back. Welcome into the Todd Bowles Show. Again, final segment here with head coach Todd Bowles. Let's look ahead to this Monday Night Football game. I know that's a tough place to play out in Arrowhead. What are the things that's going to make you guys really work on, focus on, and potentially alter, knowing that that's a loud atmosphere?
Well, that being a very loud atmosphere and us getting false starts, that's going to be critical for us to stay on sides and make sure we can move the football. Defensively, they got Chris Jones we got to deal with. He's a different type of animal. They play very well on defense. They have 2 good corners. They're tough up front, so offensively it's going to be a challenge. Defensively, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, that kind of says it all. They got a lot of speed on the outside, so we got our work cut out for us. They don't beat themselves, so we can't beat ourselves to give us a chance to win.
When you look at someone like Patrick Mahomes, who can play the game very differently from so many other people, and he's someone you guys don't always face very often. It's not like he's in your division or someone you're playing a ton to get used to that. What are the biggest things defensively that you have to focus on and that you tell guys who maybe especially haven't faced him yet?
You got to make sure he does a great job at ball fakes. You know, he can flash the ball in front of your face and not throw it and people jump and he takes off and runs. He can get the ball out of his hand quick. He can get it through any tight spot, and that makes it tough. He's very accurate on the run and in the pocket, and he understands where he is on the field at all times, so everybody's got to be sharp.
Now that we are at the closest thing we have to sort of a halfway point, now that it's not an even number of games, what are the biggest things that you now would say you know about your team at this point?
I know we're tough. I know we'll fight, and I know we'll be in every game. We just got to eliminate some of the small things to help us get over the hump.
So what would be 1 or 2 things that you would want to see the second half that would show you that those things have been addressed?
The false starts have to go down definitely, and the missed tackles and some of the communication issues have to go down in the defense.
There's been several different types of adversity recently for this team, whether it was injuries, the hurricanes, some tough losses. What have you learned through this point in your career as a head coach about coaching through adversity and how it is similar or different to how you approach coaching any other day?
There's going to be adversity. It's how you handle it, how you work at it, and how you come out of it. You can't be successful without adversity. So we're facing some adversity right now, and then there are other teams in the league facing that as well. But how we handle it ourselves within the locker room, on the practice field, and how we go out to the games is how successful we'll be.
And then finally, what are the things about having 2 Monday Night Football games so close to each other? What are the pros and cons of that?
Pros are you get a longer week, you get an extra rest day. The cons of that, you get a shorter week the next week, and you got to prepare for a game.
All right, well, Coach, thank you so much for your time as always, and good luck this next week.
Thank you.